Okay, so today is my 52nd day of my weight loss journey, during which I managed to reverse my prediabetes. Today is like a big day because it's my 52nd day and I'm 52 years old, and maybe that's not a big deal, but it kind of is for me because, that's a long time that I've been doing this. And I feel so much better. I've talked in the last two videos how things have gone awry in my plans because it's just so insidious. I mean, really, I just did not expect sugar to be everywhere. And I've been thinking about that more, and I think some of it is kind of, sinister um goals that the food industry has, because sugar is addictive. So by putting sugar in everything, they get people addicted to that, and people buy more and more and more and more. So if you go to the snack machine and you get like a candy bar, that's not going to be enough. Then you're going to want another candy bar. And then a couple hours later, you're going to want a donut. And a couple hours after that, it's going to be a cookie. So that's why they do it, I think. I don't think it's an accident that sugar is in everything and it's so addictive. Because why else would people deal with all the problems that come with it? Why else would people deal with diabetes, um, teeth rotting, joints aching, um, fatigue, everything that comes along with eating sugar? I mean, kids are like bouncing off the walls and they're full of energy, or they throw up if they eat too much. Why would people do that to themselves if there wasn't some sort of addiction? And how do the food companies benefit by giving us addictive substances? Well, they're guaranteed repeat customers. That's how people make their money. I mean, in other videos, I've talked about how, you know, all these weight loss programs, it's not really permanent weight loss because you're not learning how to deal with your food addictions. You're not learning how to deal with, like what I'm trying to do, going out and living a normal life. It's really difficult. And like, look at Kirstie Alley. I mean, that's a classic example. She loses weight on Jenny Craig or whichever system she's on, and then she gains it back. And then she loses it, and then she gains it back. And amazingly, she's still their spokesperson. And I'm not sure who made that decision. I mean, this is not anything against Kirstie Alley. I think she's a wonderful actress. I love her in Cheers, and I loved her in Star Trek. I mean, she's really great, and she's a very beautiful woman, overweight or slender. But it's the business model that they're using that I find disturbing. It's like they're admitting that it's not permanent weight loss, because it's almost like a joke, how she gains and loses this weight, and she spent, well, she can afford to, but she spent so much money on Jenny Craig. Well, a lot of us can't afford that revolving door in and out of these expensive weight loss programs. I mean, there are people that can, but there's many more women like me that really can't, and that are overweight and have high blood sugar and are facing an old age of just horrible things. I mean, we all know somebody who has diabetes, who's had some toes cut off, eyes removed, um, heart attacks, strokes, cancer. It's a terrible thing. And you know you just have to fight against it, and it's so difficult because they put it in everything. I've got to the point that after this weekend, I'm almost afraid to eat anything outside the house, eat or drink anything but water, because you never know what is going to be in it. And if you want more information, watch my two videos from the last couple days. Days 49, 50, and 51 to see what I've been through because, I tried to make myself a cup of coffee at the Cleveland Clinic. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I was hungry. I had a lot of driving of family members to doctor's appointments, and even when I eat healthy food, I get kind of sleepy. So I had a cup of decaf coffee, and I didn't put any sugar in it. I just had the powdered creamer, and it had sugar. I didn't expect it. Totally didn't expect it. They had Splenda, and I put some Splenda in it, but I'm like, why did I think there would be any sugar in the powder? I thought it was like powdered milk, but powdered cream. Maybe that shows what a dope I am. But again, not being a coffee drinker and not used to those type of products, I just didn't think about it. And I didn't know till I got up to leave and my joints ached. And, it was just amazing to me how many things have sugar. I mean, why? Why is there sugar in powdered coffee creamer? I mean, and then they have packets of sugar and Splenda and NutraSweet next to it. I mean, that's supposed to be what you use to add the sweetener, and it didn't taste sweet. So after thinking about it, as I said, I think it's because it's addictive. And when you eat it, you're going to want more and more and more. And you're going to go home and want more. And you're going to stop at a store on the way home and buy some more of their product. Because repeat customers is the most successful business model. And like I just said, like Jenny Craig and Nutrisystem, people lose weight on those programs. They do. But they often gain it back because you're not learning how to cook and eat regular food when you have all this prepackaged food delivered to you. You're not learning how to resist temptation at the grocery store. You're not learning all the tips that you need to learn to cook in a healthy way that tastes good, that doesn't have the sugar and gluten in it. You're not learning anything. And even Weight Watchers, I mean, I have done Weight Watchers. I have not done the other plans because I could never afford it. And to be honest, I really didn't want to. I didn't want to afford it. If I could afford it, I still wouldn't have done it. But Weight Watchers, my doctor talked to me about Weight Watchers because, you know, he didn't think that I was eating, and again, this is a self-confession. I didn't get to be 100 pounds overweight and have high blood sugar, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure eating raw celery. I mean, I used to be a terrible junk food junkie. And, it's terrible. I'm paying for it now. I'm paying in spades. And at least I came to my senses before it was too late. But I used to eat a lot of junk food. And my doctor talked to me about learning how to eat a healthy diet. And so he suggested Weight Watchers. And so at the time, there wasn't a Weight Watchers meeting in my area. I'm showing my age, but I'm open about my age. I'm 52. This was like 20 years ago. It was quite some time ago, before the internet became very popular. So they had this Weight Watchers at Home program, which, was a good idea at the time, where it was a little expensive. Things like 150 bucks. I had to save up for it. And they send you a box with all the stuff you need. You get a points calculator, you get recipe books, you get books describing how to do it, and yeah, it was good. And I was doing it for a while, and it just so happened, and I did lose some weight. I think I lost like 10, 15 pounds. And it just so happened that the timing was bad. They changed their program like, oh, I think about 3 or 4 months after I got this. So they wanted me to buy a new points calculator. All my recipe books that they had sent me were like no good because they were based on the old point system. And I'm realizing I'm not going to call it a scam because you do get something legitimate for your money and you can take it and make it work, but it's still taking away your power and being a money generating situation for them. they're not looking out for your best interest. They are a for-profit corporation, and they want to make money. And of course, they're not going to come out and say, we're just some selfish jerks that want to take advantage of the pain that overweight people go through and find any way to get your money. They're not going to say that. So they come across as being really caring and, really wanting to be for women. I mean, their commercials now crack me up. Like, oh, it's not just about food anymore, it's about a lifestyle. And, I have a lot of respect for Oprah Winfrey. I really do, because I've learned so much from her show, especially, with her new shows. And I'm glad that it's working for her. And I'm glad that she's advocating it, because Weight Watchers is a good place to start if you don't know anything about cooking and about healthy eating. And I will say this about Weight Watchers: their recipes and their books are delicious. Their cookbooks, I never got rid of them, are the best cookbooks I have, because the food is just good. It really is. It's good. And I mean, it's good for being healthy eating, because for the most part it is. I mean, Weight Watchers relies pretty heavily on processed food. You have quite a lot of recipes. It's like take a can of Campbell soup and, a container of fat-free sour cream and mix, I'm not too big a fan of those recipes, but they have a lot of recipes using real food also. So, if you feel like you have to use a program, like you just can't do it from scratch like I am, Weight Watchers is probably the best way to go, because you're still purchasing, preparing, and eating your food yourself. You don't give up your control completely to anybody else. And you do get to pick what you eat within the point system. And I've heard people say they don't like Weight Watchers because, oh, then you could use up your points eating donuts. Well, not really. They do have some good health guidelines, and pretty much, because again, you're watching a former junk food junkie. By the time you eat their good health guideline type of food, you really don't have a lot of points left over for cupcakes. Really, honestly, I don't think I could ever eat just one. I mean, the most treat that I could afford as far as the points might be like a little handful of nuts that I had to measure. So that's a good place to start. I'm not really against Weight Watchers, but again, you don't need it. You don't need to give them your money to figure out how to shop and cook and eat properly. And you don't have to do that complicated points calculator or whatever. That's just adding complication that's not needed. Okay, so I've gone over the horrible time I had this weekend trying to eat outside the house. It's been awful. So today, I really wanted to keep things simple today, and I did, and I feel pretty good today. Well, let me get to my food diary before I run out of too much time. So this morning, I tried to keep things really simple. So all I had was a bag of those raw almonds from Trader Joe. It's individual. It's on my computer because I was doing some work on it. It's individually packed bags of raw almonds from Trader Joe and a glass of water. So that was my breakfast. And then for lunch, which is my main meal of the day, as I've said a couple times, I went to that Indian buffet, and that's kind of become a tradition to go there every Sunday, and it's really, really good. I mean, it's just awesomely good. And I love going there because I can just relax and eat. Um, they don't have a lot of sugary sauces. I can kind of tell they're sugary sauces because they're kind of shiny, that corn syrup kind of shine to it. Um, and I've been there enough to kind of know. I don't know how to pronounce the names of the dishes or what's in there, but I know which ones in the past have tasted sweet and which ones haven't. And they don't put breading on most things. So after that terrible experience at that place I went to eat yesterday, I wanted today to be simple. So I went to the buffet and I just had a good time eating what appealed to me, which I know was pretty healthy. I usually am very heavy into their lentils, so that's lentils underneath the rice. I had some lentils, I had some pieces of chicken, I had some baby corn, and I had a chicken thigh and rice. And then in that bowl is some yogurt sauce because they make their stuff really spicy. And then in that square dish, blue dish at the top, is the condiments, which is fresh vegetables. I got a couple of chickpeas in there and a couple little cubes of potato, and the rest is raw red onion, cut up tomato, and some cut up cilantro and some water. And that was nice. That was nice to just eat and enjoy and not like second guess every bite I put in my mouth and second guess every dish that I got. Like I just relaxed and ate and enjoyed myself. I mean, it's great. So I'm glad there's a place that I know I can eat. I know it's if something it just doesn't have hidden sugar in it. Some of the dishes have like a sweet sauce, but I know which one they are and I can avoid them. And I can see which has breaded chicken in it, which ones don't. So I avoid the one with the breaded chicken. And the lentils and rice is usually what I eat. Lentils and rice, raw onions, and raw tomato, cilantro. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And I had some chicken with that. So that was really good. And that was a joy to just relax and eat. So I gave that to myself today after the weekend I had. And then I have been really debating with myself where the cutoff is going to be with sweet things that I eat. Because no sugar and no gluten is absolute. But I do eat stevia and I do eat Splenda. And I've been on the fence about all the other, sugar substitutes like, coconut syrup I've heard is low glycemic index, and agave syrup, and xylitol. I mean, all these different chemicals and natural foods that they process, and honey. And I've thought carefully about it, and I really want to be healthy. I want the focus of this weight loss journey is about health. It's not about looks. I mean, of course, I'm happy about being more slender and looking better in my clothes and my clothes fitting me better. But the main goal is my health. So I have decided after today that I'm going to make an exception occasionally for honey because it is a completely natural substance. It's not concentrated, it's not processed. I think the concentrated sweeteners is where people get into trouble because that's really what cane syrup is. I mean, cane sugar, white sugar is concentrated juice from the sugarcane plant. And that's why it's so detrimental to our health because it's taking the natural sweetness from, this is just off the top of my head, I guess, 100 plants, 100 stalks, and concentrating it into a single cup of sugar. That's why it's bad. I mean, if I went out into a field of sugar cane and pick up a stalk and like chewed on it, I mean, because I've already kind of made my pancreas sick with eating crazy before, it might make me sick now, but I don't think it would give anyone diabetes. Like concentrating it would. So I'm going to not eat the concentrated sugar substitute processed sugars like agave syrup. But honey, I make an occasional, um, I guess, exception for that because it's natural. It's not concentrated and it's not sugar, it's not processed. So at the restaurant, they have a dessert. I had a little more of the yogurt sauce because the food was so spicy. And they have this carrot and honey dish that they made that I had for dessert. And I didn't have that much because it is kind of sweet. And when I came home, that was a lot of food, as you saw. I really wasn't hungry. For my third meal, which is always kind of late, I just had an apple and peanut butter and a glass of skim milk. That's natural peanut butter with no sugar added. So that was a pretty good eating day I had today. I felt okay, and I've gotten back on track. And, I think next time that I go places, I'm going to pack more safe food with me. I don't ever want to be in a position where I kind of forced to eat because I'm afraid. It just gives me so much anxiety. Like, is this going to make my joints hurt and it's going to be hard to walk to the car to get home? Yeah, I don't want to live like that. I just want to eat and enjoy it. So, anyway, I hope all of you had a pretty good weekend. I hope most of your weekend was better than mine. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye bye.